Hi, welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast. I am one of the hosts this evening, Michael, followed by other host, Kat.
Hello.
And other host, Sage.
That's me.
You guys didn't say, wow, you changed it this time, which also has happened like 3 times. Congrats.
Woo!
I was, right before the podcast started, I was talking to Sage earlier about the new Trigun show, which is kind of a banger. Yeah. The animation, the CG animation is like stellar.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't think I liked it.
No?
I
Oh, you started watching it?
No.
Yeah. I was like...
No. Why would I watch it?
She didn't like the original show.
No, I know. That's why when you said I don't think...
trailer.
Oh, the trailer. Sorry, I thought you meant the show.
No.
I thought it looked fine in the trailer. In the
Yeah,
show
I thought it looked pretty good in the trailer.
I just don't think I
do
really...
you not like CG in general for anime?
I don't care too
I was going to say, I usually don't.
Yeah, usually it's pretty bad.
I don't care too much, but when I saw it, I was just like... I mean, if I watched it, which I won't, but if I did...
Well, you will when it's done, because I'm going to also recommend it so we can talk about the differences.
But I guess because it just being different than the original, maybe that's why I don't like it, because you're seeing the same characters.
This one
but
also...
the model is different.
Yeah. Also, if it makes you feel any better, completely original story. Has nothing to do with the original story.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, yeah. So when because I also had mentioned it to you when we were doing the anime club for it, that I was like, I thought it was like a brotherhood where it's actively following the story. Yeah, that's not true. It's doing its own thing, which I guess either people didn't know that or I was reading the wrong thing. But yeah, so it's like it's doing its own thing entirely.
They just lied. They just like were promoting it, saying it was.
Well, no, because I don't think any of the promotions said what the story was.
So where did people even get that from? They were speculating.
I guess, yeah. And then,
right, because they haven't even said how many episodes it's gonna be.
Nope.
So everything's like pretty in the dark.
Yeah, they're just kind of. Johnny Young Bosch did come back for Vash though. The English dub's first episode just came out, so.
Oh, that's good.
Is he the only one back?
I think so. At the very least, he's the only one that said it. If the guy that voiced Wolfwood's back, he hasn't shown up in the show yet, so he wouldn't announce it. But I don't. Who knows? But the person. So Millie's not in the show.
Oh.
She was replaced with an old drunk guy.
Well, you said Meryl.
Yeah. Aren't they the same?
No, Meryl. Which one?
The tall one with the Gatling gun.
Is that Millie?
That's Millie.
Okay.
Meryl's
the one with the blue hair.
right. Yeah.
That's
Meryl
why I
is
was
still
so
around.
surprised
Yeah.
when you were like they replaced Meryl, and I was like, what?
No, sorry. Millie is not there.
Okay.
Meryl is, and they're not.
I liked Millie better.
Yeah. The new guy, not great.
Rip.
Why would they get rid of her and then add someone fucking annoying?
I don't know. They're no longer insurance people. They are
news reporters.
Yeah, news reporters.
All right.
But
I feel like that angle
hate
kind of
that.
works
Yeah, I don't
in
hate
like
that.
as a
That makes
reason to follow him
Yeah.
around.
For sure.
But it's very different. The first 3 episodes are out currently when we're recording this, and it only takes place in one town. And like the 3rd episode is like when it finally is going to be like transitioning in the next episode to somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But the first 3 episodes are all just like setting up this different story and what's going on, and it's pretty solid. It's different. It's not what I was expecting it to be, but it looks pretty good basically the entire time.
I'm really mad they got rid of Millie.
Yeah.
Millie was like the one part of the show that when I saw like any of the jokes that like she had or like bits that I thought was actually good.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss her staying up all night to write to all 50 billion
500
of her
kids. Siblings.
Yeah, siblings.
That's disappointing, and especially that it's
not even an
character
interesting
that
replacement.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He's very just like generic drunk grizzled reporter man.
Well, maybe he'll get better because you said it's only 3 episodes right now.
Speaking of drunk old man, sorry to change the subject, but did you see about Rick and Morty?
I did.
What happened with Rick and Morty now?
I mean,
Of
it's
course
more
you
about
didn't.
Justin
Okay, so
Roiland.
Justin Roiland, do you know who that is?
No.
The voice of Rick and Morty.
Oh, okay.
And like
And,
a billion
yeah.
other characters.
Okay.
in
And the
show.
co-creator of
co-creator.
I was
Rick and
gonna say, I
Morty.
feel like isn't there just one guy doing everyone essentially?
Yeah,
Pretty
Pretty
much.
much. He's basically the Seth MacFarlane of Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
Okay.
literally.
So some stuff came out with his ex-wife, or was it other people too?
I think it was other people too. Maybe it started with the ex-wife and then more came
Women.
forward or something.
Either singular or multiple.
Right.
Came out being like he abused us and
Oh.
he was. I'm gonna pull it up real quick.
Right.
But as I'll just gloss over
It was
general.
not great.
Yeah, it's not great. So that he was fired.
Damning allegations.
Yeah, so
Yes.
he was fired. And
Is Rick? But haven't they been on a hiatus for a while?
No.
they just take some times between seasons.
Oh,
They've
okay.
been
But they are obligated to season 10.
Yeah.
Really?
And
I
they
didn't
in
know
the
their
middle of
contract
doing
was for 10
season-
seasons.
7, I
Yeah.
believe. So
they
there's already
did
6
they
seasons.
fired him, and they're just saying it's going to keep going. And now
least-
and Dan Harmon is going to be the sole credited creator from now on.
At
So what
least
are they
it
going to do about the
seems-
voices?
Well,
Just
that's what I was gonna say. They're
Replace them, yeah.
recasting. I was gonna say at least it seems that those are pretty easy like impressions people can
People
do.
on TikTok do that shit all the
Yeah,
time.
because I feel like I always see all the time people doing Rick and Morty
Right.
impressions. So I feel like at least that's kind of like
It's something you
or
can
the
kind
or
of
Yeah.
we were joking in the chat with like all the guys that there's just gonna be a joke when the voices change. Just like Rick's gonna be like, "Oh, Morty, I changed our voices. Isn't that funny? Oh, geez, Rick, yeah,
yeah.
Like,
I
they
can
ju-
see that.
yeah.
I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I feel like that would be like a very on-brand way to do that
Yeah.
for them.
So is this
But
one
yeah,
more
they're
for?
locked
Yeah.
in for 10 seasons.
One
What-
count
with
of
Adult
domestic
Swim?
battery with corporal
Is that like
injury.
their main distributor, Adult Swim?
Yeah.
Okay.
One felony count of false imprisonment by menace, violence, fraud, and/or deceit against anonymous Jane Doe. He falsely imprisoned somebody and domestic battery.
Didn't know about the first one.
Oh yeah. He's so not great.
Not
Well,
great.
false
In
imprisonment
2020 is when this happened. During
is like legal terms of like just being like, hey, now you stay in this location
Yeah.
for an
Yep. Basically,
amount
it
of
was like, hey,
time.
you're staying in this house and you're not leaving.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So he was fired. Rightfully so.
Yeah, no, that sounds like the right move.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're just moving on.
I mean, good for them, but
I'm
They
curious
were in the
if they're.
middle of a season.
Yeah,
right,
I'm
that they're
curious. So they're probably
but I
gonna.
assume everything is already like recorded.
making? No, I
Or
think
they're
they
in
were
a-
like literally in the middle of making
Oh, of
it.
making the season. I understand.
Yeah.
I thought you meant airing.
So I could really see your theory happening because
Right.
obviously they're not going to have him. Hey, could you record X, Y, and Z to,
right.
you know,
They
finish
can't
it
just be
off?
like, hey, while you're going into like trial, can you just say a couple lines?
Yeah, like real quick before we, you
Yeah.
know, skedaddle you out of here. Could
Right.
you just say like this little bit? I highly doubt it. So
Yeah.
I think they'll just.
Damn,
or
that's
or
crazy,
they'll
though.
re-record just.
Do you think that they will record the whole season?
I think
Maybe.
I think legally it will depend. I think they probably
Depends on
won't.
his contract, I guess.
I think if you're charged with crimes, you can break contract.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure in most contracts, like there's a
But
bunch
There's
of
a
like
clause that
legal,
says yeah.
legal stipulations
But-
that go
Because
along
he's
with
a
it.
co-creator, do you think that his contract was that?
I think if
Strict,
all right, so
if
the
anything,
show.
wouldn't it be more? Especially because I can't imagine that they don't have addendums to the contract. Because think about like, okay, you pitch the show, right? And Adult Swim is like, okay, we'll take on this show, and then season 1 comes out. If it's a flop, they just cancel you. You know what I mean? So I can't imagine their first contract was slated for 10 seasons.
No, it wasn't.
So I'm like,
'Cause
what?
I think it was after like season 4, 3, something like earlier on.
Right.
Everybody didn't know if there was even
So-
gonna be another season, and then I think there had been like, I don't know, like a year or two in between. There was like a big gap, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Bam, we're getting 6 more seasons."
So,
Yeah.
so I assume with that expansion of
It would be more
how many
strict.
seasons, they would make new contracts, being like, okay, here's how long you're here for. This is what we're doing, and then on top of the contract of what you're legally required to do for the show, they always have like, if you get into this kind of trouble, or if you do this or you do this, you know, you either get penalized or we fire you, or you know, X, Y, and Z kind
Makes
of
sense.
penalty will be put upon you. So I can't imagine that they don't have like, hey, if you get arrested,
Yeah.
and I'm sure it's not like if you get arrested for any reason, but probably for something more severe, like
I
if you get
assume they're going to re-record it. I would be a little surprised if they didn't. But who knows? I would assume they would though, because I think that with crime like that, I think you can break contract, but also I don't think they want to be associated in any way. So I don't think they want half
They're
a
still
season to
gonna
have
to
his
credit
voice.
him for writing.
I think you can lose credits based on
Yeah?
stuff.
I think you can lose credits.
I think you can lose
Oh.
credits once.
And it could be also a thing of maybe instead of like you might, it might be a thing because you know how they always have like in the main intro, you know, like the producer and blah
Yeah.
blah blah, all that stuff, and created by.
Yeah.
So maybe just in the created by, his name is not there, but then in like that end
And it is.
credits where it's just a quick scroll, maybe they'll put his name there.
Gotcha.
If he's legally required to be credited for it. You know what I mean? If there
Yeah.
might be some kind of like loophole there.
Yeah, there's probably. I don't know exactly how that would work. His name might be somewhere. I assume they're not gonna have it up front like they have. I don't know, but it'll be interesting. I'm curious if they're gonna stick with like the same cadence, like people just doing that, or if they just change it completely.
Ask. Do you think that they're gonna go a different route just to, I guess, avoid associating it with him, or do you think that they'll?
I think it can go either way. I think that's
an
much
impression.
more
I
of like that's like gonna be like legal department
I-
questions, and they're gonna decide what they feel like
Because
is
they
best.
also have to do what they think will be good for press, like if
Right.
people will be upset if that. But personally, I would rather them just do impressions, especially because the show has been happening for so long. That
I assume they'll probably go with somebody trying to do the same voice.
yeah, because I feel like
Who
I don't
who
know.
owns Rick and Morty?
Like in terms of the idea or the publishing?
Not the publishing, but like the IP.
Probably. Well, Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland are credited with creating it, but they probably sold it to the network.
Sold it to Adult Swim, you mean?
Probably.
Oh,
They probably
okay.
were like, "Here's our
Can you
idea."
Google that?
Yeah, I'll see. If I
No,
can-
the only reason why I ask is because with something like, you know, crediting him this, that, the other thing, I also think that would be a dispute between Adult Swim, and if they were owned separately, they were just, you know, like working in tandem with Adult Swim kind of a thing to
The owner is Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network. Okay. Then I guess there's no real like fight there.
It says owner Cartoon Network and Warner Brothers Discovery.
Because Cartoon Network owns Adult Swim, yes?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
So
Interesting.
credited, created by Justin Roiland, Dan Harmon, and then owner is the network.
Gotcha.
So it'll probably be whatever the fuck the legal team decides, but I'm going to probably assume they'll try to keep the same voice and just have somebody else do it.
Yeah, because I
And-
feel like at this point the voices are so recognizable.
That you can't just like. I feel like the show will kind of flop if they don't.
Unless
have
they
that.
go the route of like doing another voice, but it's also very like fits.
Distinct.
Yeah, very distinct and fits like the characters and fits the tone of the show.
I think it'll
but
be
I think
hard.
that would be a very hard sell.
Yeah.
I will say I did see this a funny TikTok, which is just like the Adult Swim office now that Justin Roiland's out, and it was just this dude picking up a phone and putting it back down and picking it back up of just bad impressions from fans on TikTok. And this is like, and the caption was just like, "I feel so bad for the fucking network right now."
I feel like that's absolutely what's happening.
Fans are
Hire
absolutely
me.
yeah. And it's just like awful impressions, and just some dude has to be there looking through it all and being
Oh,
like,
I'm sure. But I feel like, can you just be like, do you even need to look? Can you just be like, no, I'm not even going to consider it? Because I
Like the
feel
phone?
like no, I'm saying like, okay, so
technically, if
Casting?
they are all doing it through casting, like
Guess
like
you
the
do
actual
technically have to
casting
be
calls,
there,
yeah,
right.
you do have to listen to them to some extent.
right.
If they are absolutely
put on
awful to
headphones.
start,
But
you
they
can just X out.
probably have levels. So like.
Yeah, it probably goes through multiple
Yeah,
levels.
like
Right.
so then they won't. Oh, so whoever's at that bottom level of first
Right.
will have to deal with every single.
Yeah, it's probably like
awful-
an assistant of an assistant that they're
Yeah.
like, you know what? You just give us a general feel. If someone's
Yeah.
really horrible, just kick them out.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
All right, give me 10 seconds. Give me all you got. And
Yeah.
then get the fuck out. Probably something like that. I just wonder if like, is there anything with voices about like owning voices? Because like he created the voice. So is there any way that they actually have to do new voices?
I think technically there are things that people own their voice, but more for like not character basis, because you create a character, that character then becomes the IP of somebody else for the most part. It depends what medium you're in. So like somebody could, if James Earl Jones dies, somebody could try to emulate his Darth Vader voice again or his Mufasa voice or whatever.
Right.
Because he doesn't own the right to the voice. I guess there is a possibility that Justin Roiland owns the rights to that kind of voice, but it is highly unlikely. That stuff usually comes more into play with like how actors also own their likeness, and you can't like try to use it in a way that makes you money.
Right.
So that stuff usually kind of gets encompassed, but it's usually their own personal voice and not a character voice.
Gotcha.
Yeah, like I feel like, you know, like Sam Elliott or like Morgan Freeman, like their voices are really distinct.
Yeah.
And I feel like they don't really do character voices. They just
do that.
sound like themselves essentially. So I feel like maybe in their case where it's very obvious that this is their voice, like maybe they could claim ownership opposed to like, I don't know, like Jared Leto or like Margot Robbie doing like a very specific accent for like a movie, and like that's the character's accent and that's the voice that they would have.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I think I think it would be an uphill battle legally to like claim rights to that kind of thing. Because it's not like music where you can be like, no, I created this.
I own this.
For the most part, from just like a courtesy looking up stuff, you can't really like own your own voice. So I think like the only version of that is like in the same way of owning your own likeness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can own a voice you create for something, because
that kind of sucks though. I feel like you should be able to if you create like an iconic character and then like
but then like
the fact that they shouldn't be. I mean, obviously.
But then like think about voice acting.
Yeah.
Like the amount of voices that people make for that stuff.
Because think about how many Ashes we've had in the run of like Pokemon.
I guess that's true.
Like the original Ash can't come out and be like, no, I created that voice first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
Like they just they're directed in a way to get a specific voice,
But I don't think,
and like intonation.
Yeah.
I don't think any of them were ever like fired though. They kind of just aged out. Or
Well,
like,
yeah, but like
that's what I'm saying.
I'm thinking more of like, what if a company like fires you? Like you create a voice, they fire you, they hire someone cheaper who could just do an impression of
I think the closest
character.
that anything like that gets is like when a Japanese voice actor dies and they go, all right, we're not doing the character anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
but past that, like imagine if Chris Sabat owned all his voices and then died. That's like over 300 characters that could just never be voiced again.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
so, or they just have to be extremely different. I don't think you can really like own something like that.
That makes sense.
You are directed to get some kind of tone that somebody wants. You're not going in there and being like creating this specific thing.
Well, that's not true. Some of them do. Like some of them, I've seen like TikToks of voice actors being like, I saw the casting call. It said it was for this. You know, I listened to the Japanese voice actor, thought about how it would kind of translate to like in English, and like they kind of are, but I get what you're saying of like
I don't think
he
it
does
would
have
work.
so many. Yeah, I guess that makes sense because then he would just own like too many things, and you can't just have every single character like now just have like a different voice. And then also, I mean, I guess I don't know.
But also, regardless, even if he did own the voice,
Vic
Mignogna.
Yeah. Because he there was allegations against him.
That was like a few years ago, right?
Yeah, he still claims. I think court didn't find him guilty, but most people don't work with him anymore.
Yeah, like he's not in anything anymore.
So
I think that's also a big reason. Did you watch
High School Host Club?
Mm-hmm. They say, or there's speculations that they won't do a second season because his voice was so iconic in it that they just don't even
they don't want to touch it and like continue on with somebody else kind of a thing.
Or there's speculations that might be like part of a reason of why like they won't.
Gotcha.
So because
that's interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess, but like
because they didn't.
I think if they did Orin High School Host Club now season 2, you have enough new audience that I don't think they would mind. Because think about like when Orin High School Host Club
nobody sides with him anyways.
Right. Not only that, but like when Orin High School Host Club was first coming out here in like on television and all that jazz, we were probably like what 11, 12 years old compared to like if they started season 2 now, and there's a way bigger pool of people watching anime.
I heard
and
anime's not cool anymore. It's already out.
Orin High School Host Club is not cool anymore?
No. Anime is not cool anymore. You know how it had its little peak of people were watching
it's fine.
anime.
I remember
it's already uncool again.
I remember this very distinct moment in my life where when I used to work at a day camp in the summers, and a guy who was used to make fun of me for watching anime when we were
went
like
to school with.
No, he lived in the city, but he worked at the day camp as well. One day he came up to me and he was saying something about anime, and I said, well, you already know I like anime, blah, 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 this, that, the other thing. And then he was saying, oh, I just started watching Attack on Titan. I think I was like 17 years old. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I just started watching it. It's really good. And then he was nonstop like asking
Blowing
me for
you up
recommendations.
about it?
And so he watched like Death Note. He watched Attack on Titan and a couple of other shows I don't remember. I just remember those two. And I was like, see what you've been missing out on.
Literally.
You did it to yourself.
So I just looked up some stuff about Manana. He's been appealing. He's appealed 3 times for his case.
What was the
He's been
like,
appealing
end
about
result? Because I wasn't like really following that.
I think nothing happened.
Yeah,
they just don't work with him.
Yeah,
but
like
I don't think legally anything happened.
Yeah, like I think.
Well, then what's he appealing if nothing happened?
He's been appealing his case that they like defamation, that he should be able to still. They broke contract and he should be able to work, and he's been and it's been denied 3 times.
Yeah, that's not a good sign, bro.
So, I don't know.
This is just like too many people that came out.
He's been continuously saying that he's been innocent, but who fucking knows?
Right.
I don't know. That shit's above me. I'm not getting near that.
I don't know. There was way too many like famous women who have shit to lose coming out against him. That I it's gotta be true. Like I doubt they all just banded together
and they were like, let's take this guy down, kind of a thing.
Ruin his fucking life. Like
right.
They have way too much to lose, especially because he was in so many things and was one of those like well-known voices, and obviously a man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a reason to not believe them, but also I don't know. Like, there's always so much shit going on. I try not to touch that shit with a 10-foot pole.
I think he's probably just trying to appeal because obviously he can't.
Right, he wants work.
And because nothing legally came out of it, then he's going to try and appeal it because he's just like, you have no proof.
Right.
Give me
but
work.
I wonder, does he get any kind of like royalties or
he probably still does.
He probably still gets royalties, yeah. But he also apparently has up to $500,000 of debt from the lawsuits, so.
Yikes.
Or that he owes, not necessarily debt, but he owes it.
But he owes like at least $500K.
Yeah.
That's... Oh my god.
That is debt. What's the difference of owing and debt?
I don't, because I don't know if he could pay it off. I don't know how much money the man has.
Right.
Probably had that.
Who knows? I have no idea.
But yeah, I don't know either.
Speaking of voice acting, so I've been working on a 1,000-piece puzzle because I hate my life.
What does that do with voice acting?
I'll let you know.
Starting with a
Speaking
puzzle.
of voice acting, so I did a puzzle.
No, I'm not done yet.
A 1,000-piece puzzle.
Every time you put one in, a voiceover activates.
No.
I thought you were gonna say that you were like working on voices.
No.
I don't know where I thought this was going.
She puts a piece in, and God comes down and goes, nice.
I sure didn't think a puzzle, but go on.
And for background noise, I've been having Yu-Gi-Oh on in the background,
of course,
because
take your shot of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I was about to say this is our daily.
Yeah.
You know?
But so I'm in season 3 right now, and I noticed something that I never noticed before. Whenever they're talking about like Seto Kaiba's dad, Gozaburo Kaiba, and Seto Kaiba's like,
what's that name?
Gozaburo.
Okay.
Is that not his name?
I don't fucking know.
I'm pretty sure it is.
It just sounded so outlandish.
Oh, and then whenever they're talking about like his other brother, Noah, everyone keeps referring to the dad as his stepdad and the brother as his stepbrother, and I was like, is this a translation thing?
I thought Kaiba
because
was
he's
adopted.
That would not be step.
I guess it.
And it's been bothering me the whole time while I'm watching this. Like,
unless he doesn't view them as his parents.
Yeah, but it's still not.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I guess.
It's just
it's
such weird.
So the only way
phrasing.
to know is if I feel like if you knew Japanese to see how they were referring to,
right, if the translation is different.
like there's no respect in the word, so then they translated that to be step because it's not like the proper, you know what I'm saying?
I could
they
kinda
have
get
so
that.
many different.
Because Kaiba definitely doesn't respect his dad. He's
So-
definitely like spitting on his grave type deal.
So maybe it's something like that, and they were just like, "What the fuck do we
That's
do?"
the
And they're
closest
just
like English.
step. And so
English.
like,
Oh, no, never mind.
Oh,
Continue.
what?
I was reading the wrong thing. Continue.
oh.
But yeah, so they keep saying it, and I'm like, you're actively wrong in your own show.
Yeah.
Like,
I have to feel like it's something
But-
like that.
and then my other theory, I was like, maybe because Kaiba and Mokuba were adopted older than like a typical adoption would be, that they don't like have that like, oh, this is my like actual parents now kind of a vibe. So they're like, this is my step parent, like, because you know,
But I can't, yeah.
You know what I
'cause,
mean? Like,
they're not
it's-
going to call them by the first name, but I feel like that's what happens. Like, if a kid doesn't want to call someone like mom or dad, they usually call them by their first
right,
name.
like whenever
And
you
they're
get
not
a
gonna do
step
that in
parent,
the
you're usually
show.
like, oh, hey Jeff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're not going to call them dad.
But there was just like no
No like
equivalent.
translation
Yeah.
for it. But yeah, it's been bothering
I think that would have
me.
been hilarious. That what's his name? What's the dad's name? That you said?
Ozaburo?
Yeah, if he just said that every time he was talking about him, I kind of think that would be really funny.
That would
They
be
should
very
have done
funny.
that instead.
And then even Noah like refers to Kaiba and Mokuba as his stepbrothers. And I'm like, but they're not.
I guess because it would be longer to be like
And it's
that
weird.
adopted kid.
And it's weird because they never even met each other in real life.
I guess I really think it's just they just had no other word and they were just like
Well, Noah also doesn't exist in the manga.
No, that whole third season doesn't really exist.
I love this picture because it's just regular dude and his anime son.
Yeah.
I can't find anything about it in terms of like
Stepdad type
yeah,
deal.
So
Oh, okay.
I think it might just be,
they did the best they could.
They did the best
and
they
that's
could.
all they could do, I guess.
or like they couldn't fit adopted in the mouth in the like the flaps, so they just went with step.
Maybe. That is definitely shorter.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I always find it very funny that Kaiba Corp, before it became like a gaming company, was literally military weapons manufacturing.
Good.
I think the amount of times that you have told me that,
It's so funny to me. Every time I hear it, I just give myself
if I
a
had a
chuckle.
nickel
This,
for every
like,
time, I'd probably at least have a
13-year-old
dollar.
I've hadn't heard
inherits
that, so
a
that was at least the first time I
multi-billion
heard
dollar
that.
military manufacturing company and is like, nah, major overhaul, children's card games only.
I mean, the amount of money it did make.
I
so.
mean, yeah, it was the right business
it was
plan,
the right
but
move,
it's-
morally, ethically, just financially.
yeah,
So
it's very interesting.
I
This is why I am
Weird.
obsessed with Yu-Gi-Oh.
because it's so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous. It's so stupid. Kaiba makes a satellite of his initials. A KC satellite.
Sure
Kaiba
does.
Corp.
Interesting.
Yeah. And puts it out into space.
I figured
Like
it is
any
a
reasonable
satellite.
man would do.
Yes.
Well, that is how satellites work.
It's true. And then he buys himself a private island to start a dueling school. For pro dueling.
Is that the one
Yu-Gi-Oh!
that-
GX.
Yeah.
With Jaden.
Is that the motorcycle one?
No,
No.
that's 5Ds.
Oh, sorry.
Card games on motorcycles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 5Ds.
Yeah. No, the one with the hair that looks like a Karibo is
Yeah, Jaden.
GX.
Although
What?
you never watched GX?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I barely even watched.
Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah, I've
Oh.
only seen like random episodes as a kid when I was on like 4Kids.
Right, because it used
like,
to be
when
on
I
the
was younger.
WB.
Yeah, I don't know, because
It was Static Shock and then Yu-Gi-Oh.
I only watched it.
Yami, Jaden. I don't remember what the fuck the.
I don't know his name either.
Yeah, that's the one from Card Games on Motorcycles.
That's 5Ds.
That's the school.
That's GX.
That's Zexel from
Yeah.
the fucking Card Games in Space,
I've
and I
only-
don't know those two.
I've only seen
the
that
one
one.
with the green
besides
hair.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the school.
Wait,
Okay.
what's it? GX 5Ds.
That's
Zexel
Zexel.
Arc 5 is the green hair, and then Vrains is like the yellow hair with the pink stripes.
Sure,
Oh.
could be. They all look stupid.
Yes.
Yeah.
The most normal of them is Jaden.
I will say after 5Ds, the main character designs do get more stupid. Even though like
They had to one up themselves.
I think Yami is like objectively dumb But come on, it's iconic at this
Like
point.
Yami's is objectively dumb. Jaden's the most normal person.
That's a normal kid.
Yeah, and then
that was pretty normal.
Yeah, his is just like it's just spiky with some yellow in it. But
Yeah.
for the most part,
Like,
he's fine.
He just got some highlights.
Yeah, and then
No, then you get also in Zexal you get
card games in space.
not only card games in space, but you get solid vision for the holograms.
And that means
Okay, so instead of them just being like you can pass through it, they're like solid.
Oh, they're hard
object.
like constructs now.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
Which I was watching
You know what was a better show than Yu-Gi-Oh?
a lot of things, but please elaborate.
Bakugan.
No.
No. Oh my god, better than Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yeah.
Bakugan sucked.
I only watch the Sonic shows, like Sonic X.
Sonic X slapped. Sonic X was
Underground.
great.
I was asking
I
Brian.
think-
I was just like,
It's on
what do you-
Netflix.
What do you
Is
think
it
they would
really?
do if I made them watch Sonic X for Anime Club? And then I was like, I think it's too many episodes.
It sure is. It's a lot.
Because it's
a
not.
lot of
they're
episodes.
not set up like seasons. I think it's just like 60 all in like one. So
Love
it's just,
Sonic
like,
X.
So good.
Also, Bakugan slapped. I don't care what you
I
have
never
to say.
saw that at all.
No, Bakugan.
Sonic Underground was really good too.
Did Bakugan only get one season?
You didn't like that? That was
I
a
don't
kind
know
of.
if I'd say, but what?
Did Bakugan only get one season?
No, I got a lot of seasons.
Really?
You got 4 at least.
Could be.
What?
I saw Digimon.
I didn't. I was never a Digimon kid.
Really?
No.
That's kind
You
of.
look like you'd be a Digimon.
I know. I was gonna say.
No, I thought it was stupid. I was Pokemon.
Oh,
That's fair.
gotcha.
That's fair.
So
It was
I.
Pokemon or Digimon. There was like no.
I feel like
bridge
there was a
between the two.
Pokemon Digimon war for a
Yeah.
while. You couldn't like both at
I
the
don't
same
think
time.
anyone in my elementary school liked Digimon.
Really?
Yeah. I think
All
it was
Pokemon kids?
All Pokemon.
Although I remember, so the other day in my kitchen, I have like a Google Hub, which is like Google Home, but with like a screen so you can like watch Netflix or whatever
Right.
while you're doing shit. So usually when I'm like cooking or whatever, I'll just have a show on for noise. And I was going through Pokemon because they have like Indigo League on Netflix, and I was like, yeah, that's enough. Whatever. I'm
Ash is retiring.
Yeah.
like, Ash is
Oh, you didn't know that?
no.
How did she know that?
Do you live
didn't?
under a rock?
I don't understand what.
Why do
what
you not
are
know
you?
these things?
Yeah, Ash.
Just busy with your 1,000-piece puzzle, watching Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's it.
Ash won and he's retiring.
Yeah.
They're making a new
Wow.
character.
Literally.
Technically, he's won before, right? But this is like.
I think he won something that was lower. Like
Oh.
this is like
The
end all
most.
be all, and so that's why it's
Gotcha.
like.
But
Right.
it also,
That's it.
I think they were like, we should just make a new character. This
Wow,
guy's been here for fucking
25
ever.
years later?
Do you think that will go well?
I don't
Who
see why
knows?
not.
I mean, I guess. I was gonna say most people that know Ash are old now, but that's not true because it's been going on forever.
No,
so
But I
literally,
al-
my little cousin, he's 6, and he's talked about Ash for like 3 or 4 years now.
But I
So-
also think, well, if he's that young, if they change out the character now, it probably won't have any effect on him. You know what I mean?
think he'd be upset. I think he's gonna tell me about it. I think he's gonna tell me Ash is gone, and he's upset.
think it's gonna be a girl. That'd be my
Yes.
guess.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be a girl.
I would agree with that. But I feel like, so I do remember there being uproar when they changed the like art style for Pokemon.
Yeah, but it got better.
Yeah.
It was
so-
much easier to do, so it got way better.
Yeah, so I remember there being a big uproar about the art style when that changed. And then once they started airing it, everyone was like, oh, this is fine. So I assume something similar will happen with this because, like, I don't know too many people that are, like, actually attached to Ash as a character because he's a
I
non-character.
think
But I feel
there'll
like
be
Ash
two
is
issues.
the only thing that
He's the face
stays
of the show.
constant.
Yeah, there'll be
because
two
they
issues.
switch out all the other characters.
Right.
for
Getting
the
rid of
most part.
Ash gets rid of Pikachu, unless they make the same character, the new character, also have Pikachu. Which I think will
Kill
be stupid.
Ash, and now his Pikachu has to be owned by someone else.
His 25-year-old Pikachu.
Or unless they like fucking time skip and it's like his daughter or some shit, and that's why
feel
the
like-
Pikachu is still there.
Do you think it would be like a girl with an Eevee?
That would be so cute, but
Because
I
I feel like when you think
And
of
they never
Pokemon, you either
evolve
think
the
of
Eevee.
I
Pikachu,
was
and
gonna
you
say,
think,
but
or
I
you think
feel
of
like
Eevee.
having just an Eevee is not as versatile as having just a Pikachu.
No, because
But
having
he
just a
never
Pikachu
had-
is also not versatile. It's actively worse
He
than having a
never had
Raichu.
his- yeah, he
No,
never.
I
had
know.
his-
I know he never
So
evolves
why
it.
couldn't you do the same exact thing?
Because what
It's
can
TV.
Eevee
Less
do?
powers,
What
I
can
guess?
Eevee do?
No.
Tackle,
Well,
tail whip.
no,
That's literally
Quick
it.
attack.
Eevee is fucking useless in general. That's why you evolve it.
Yeah, but so is a Pikachu technically.
But they
yes,
might not do that.
So maybe they'll do like a super mega OP Eevee.
Well,
like,
yeah,
like
Ash's Pikachu is just ungodly OP because it needs to be.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason that Pikachu should beat a Raichu yet.
No.
But here we are.
But here we are.
Yeah.
It's because of his agility.
I actually think that they might not do a girl with an Eevee because I'm pretty sure that last season, if it's not currently happening, because I didn't watch any of it, there was like a girl with an Eevee. So they probably won't do that.
But I feel like that's their second most like.
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
brandable
That's why I was
character.
like, do you think that they would do that? But
because if you think about like
can't learn
most things.
much, but it can learn most things through TMs. So who?
But did they?
But they
ever
also
use
might
that
not.
in
yeah,
a
I was gonna say, do
show?
they ever use those in
I
the
have
show?
no idea.
So?
I have no idea. But like, they could also just who the fuck cares?
So do you think that they'll do like a newer starter and then just be like, that's the new one?
I think if
No,
they do,
I think they need a
would,
face, and they need it to, and they can't just have it be a starter that will then continue on forever.
I kind of feel like they're gonna pull like a Toy Story, and the same toys are there, but they're just given to a new person. Like I kind of feel like it's, but then that would just get rid of everything
But
that
even
Ash and Pikachu's like relationship
but even
meant.
with Toy Story, it's not really about Andy. They're just
That's
his
true.
toys.
But I was thinking more of like,
right,
you know, how
the
they,
relationship between Ash and
how
Pikachu.
they aged it like
Right.
out to do something new.
I feel like
They
I
can't
feel like
do
they
that.
can't do a starter because it'd be weird. It wouldn't be weird because Ash had.
I feel like,
but like
Eevee's
the main
only
face
other
would be
option.
unless they make a new Pokemon. But like even if they did,
No, I feel like the reason why I don't think they would make a new one to be the new starter in the show context, because like when Pokemon was first coming out and then they were like, oh, let's put a TV show out, right? And then you have Pikachu as Ash's starter, even though in the games you can't have Pikachu unless you get the yellow version, right? That was like a novelty thing.
yeah.
I mean, you can technically catch Pikachu, but you can't be your starter. You understand?
Yeah.
So that was like a novelty thing.
Objectively worst starter too. Why the fuck would you get a Pikachu?
No, you get a Charmander like
Yeah.
a normal person. Come on. But then if you think about it, in the second gen,
Unless you're Colin and get a Bulbasaur.
Literally.
yeah, seriously. But then if you think about like second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on generations of starter Pokemon, you don't really have an equivalent similar to Pikachu where this is a reasonable starter Pokemon but just electric.
Yeah, because they have every game has their Pikachu Pokemon, which is just the mouse electric type. Every game has one, but they're
Right.
never as iconic.
Right.
No.
It's
They are
not-
just there's the Pikachu clone of this game.
I can't think of what her name is, but in Sword and Shield, the girl with the black hair,
Oh,
she has one of the Pikachu clones.
Oh, the little
yeah.
like
was
mouse
cool.
one that's like
that
brown.
turns like
Hers
evil.
was cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, that
I
one
like
is
that
so
one.
cute.
It starts with an M. It's like a weird ass name.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't think that's like at the same status.
No,
of
not at all. It was
iconicness.
just
yeah.
it popped into my head, and out of all of those, I feel
Marnie.
I feel like
Sword
that
and Shield
one's-
goth girl. That's just what
Yeah.
I typed in.
No, literally, I
The
was just
search
like, who is she? I mean, her.
Impeccable
It's her
design.
brother, right? Is actually the goth one.
Yeah. Well, they're both goth.
She ain't that goth.
I
Him?
Yeah,
They said
that
that's
entire
goth.
that entire
That's
town
real.
is.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
hilarious.
if they gave this new person a Pokemon, it would, if they did do a starter, it would
Make
have
her
to
the new face of Pokemon.
I
Marnie.
wonder if they will make one of the characters that already exists to.
Misty.
Yeah.
No
Honestly,
one loves
I'm gonna be honest. If they made Marnie the new character, I'd watch it probably.
I want it to
Marnie's
be
great.
I want it to
If
be.
they're smart, everyone loves a goth girl. right
Everyone
now.
does love a goth girl.
I want it to be Sabrina. She was incredible.
Was she the one that kissed Ash?
No, she's the one that like turns them into dolls and like makes them slaves in her dollhouse and forces them to play with her.
Not. Oh, I'm thinking of Serena.
No,
That's who I was
Sabrina.
thinking about. Yeah.
Not
yeah.
Serena.
Yeah, the one that kisses Ash.
Yes.
And then they move on.
So
from
can
that.
you look up the one that she's talking about?
Yeah, it's in Indigo League. It's very early on, and this is when he first battles Abra, and he gets his fucking ass kicked.
That person?
Yeah,
No, that's a goth girl.
yeah.
I'd rather have Marnie.
Traps her. What are What'd you just say she does?
Traps them in a dollhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, she like has
Goth.
psychic powers, and she trapped her. She turned her. She at least made them. No, she made them dolls too, but she made her parents dolls and put them in the dollhouse as well.
So she's a
So
psychopath.
yeah, I was about to say that. Okay.
But I don't know. I feel like they'd have to go with a Pikachu or an Eevee. I feel like you can't really.
That's what
They
I'm saying.
can't because
Like,
they
I
can't
really
do a
feel
new game starter because it's not gonna be the face no matter
It's not
what.
as recognizable. I think if you have up to
Like Ash always got the new starters, but
you have up to Gen 3 in terms of iconicness in my opinion. If you were going to make it a starter character,
Yeah.
I mean a starter Pokemon, you have up until because after Gen 3 I feel like that's when you kind of start losing just a little bit.
I think each gen afterwards has like a iconic Pokemon, except for whichever one had Infernape and Porygon and
Vaporeon.
no Emporion
Oh, sorry.
and something Terra.
Turtwing.
Yeah,
But
just trying to remember the last
I
form
don't
of it.
remember.
But yeah, but like I think all three of those were pretty iconic.
Right.
I
But then
don't
after
agree.
that, I think it was one, like usually one from each.
Right. So that's the
That's the only other one I can remember all three for
Second?
at least.
when is it
That one? I think that's third.
that's the third or is the
I can open Pokemon Go and I can pull out my Pokédex real quick.
Oh
and it's
no!
What?
what?
Shonen Jump app is now $2 instead of $1.
$2.99. I know. I
Yeah.
just got that message. as
$2.99.
well.
Oh, so it's
Because it was
$3.
$1.99.
Oh.
And they just
Not worth it anymore. Cancel
They
subscription.
just sent out a message, and they even said like, if you don't want to opt in, we'll just cancel it for you.
Oh.
But
Cancel
I,
our sponsorship.
but
I
I
don't like it anymore.
But I was like, of course I'm gonna give you the extra dollar.
Oh, absolutely. Gonna
Like
give you
that-
the extra $1.
I literally when I first downloaded the app, when Colin first told me about it, I said it's $2.
Yeah, it's the greatest. Now
That's-
$3 I'm going to be spending a
Right.
month.
I think for the amount of selection, my only true gripe is you can't read
It's
Yu Yu
fourth.
Hakusho on it. 4th gen.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
Torterra.
yeah, Torterra. I think it has to be an Eevee if it's not going to be a Pikachu
literally
again.
think
And
it
I don't
has
think
to,
they can do a
but
Pikachu
Sage makes
again.
a good point of it's not going to be very strong, and then also at the same time they can't evolve that Eevee
No.
because then that wouldn't.
What they could do
People
is
will
make
be
a
upset
special.
if it's not.
They can make so
Becau-
just in the same way that Ash's Pikachu is special, they could have this special Eevee where it can transform into whatever the fuck it wants to.
But that's
don't know
not
what they're
like
gonna
what
do.
it does. At least with
Pikachu,
Pikachu,
you-
not evolving.
But you also can't do
stays
some of the
its
stuff
form.
Pikachu can.
No, you're absolutely right that you can't. But I'm saying like, I think people would be more upset with them not making a choice if they do choose to like have Eevee evolve, but it can be any version of
I
itself.
think that gives them a lot of versatility though, and they
I
might
think
not
you're-
give a shit.
I think you're right, but
but it wouldn't make any
It
sense.
feels like
Also,
it
because
wouldn't make it-
because I would
No.
I would also kind of want that for one specific reason.
yeah.
If the show makes it an Eevee and they were like, fuck it, this one could just do whatever the fuck it wants, or it's a Ditto looking as an
I
Eevee.
was literally gonna say that afterward.
but then you would
what
know
about
it's
a
a ditto
Ditto?
because it can't do the face.
No, but no, that's only one Ditto.
Oh, I'm
That's only one specific Ditto. Every other Dittos can look like whatever. But is if it's a Ditto, but regardless, if it's an Eevee that can transform or whatever,
I think Ditto would be a good choice.
it would. Is it'd actually be really
But
interesting
Ditto
because then they can be
has-
whatever the fuck it wanted to be.
But
At most
Ditto
of the time.
has to copy in front of it, doesn't it? Or it can do anything. 'Cause that's the only
I
thing.
don't know
yeah,
how
I
it works.
think it has to copy
I
in
think
front.
it was in front.
I don't know how that
So
works
then
in the
that's-
lore.
I don't think
That would be problematic because
Yeah, I
that's
don't-
not an interesting fight of
Yeah.
just
I
Well,
it
think the
against
only
itself.
time we see Ditto just be something else is in Pokemon Go. Because you know how you can be like, oh,
Yeah.
a Charmander, and then
or
you catch it
in
and it's a Ditto.
Detective Pikachu, the movie.
But is that canon?
I don't know. Is it canon?
I don't know. I can
I
put it
probably
back.
not.
But
I can't
regardless,
imagine
what
it
I was gonna
is.
say is if they made it an Eevee, is that they would finally get off their fucking ass and make some other goddamn evolutions. I
That's
want
what-
a dragon and ghost Eevee so bad.
Well, here's the problem with
I don't know why they
having an
haven't
Eevee
done
that
that.
can be multiple
Fuck knows.
Eevees, evolutions. Because for Eevee to evolve, you have to give it
Yeah, the
certain
stone.
Yeah,
stones,
whatever it needs.
which was the whole thing with Pikachu. he didn't give him the Thunderstone, so he
Yeah.
never evolved. So you can't now be like, oh, we'll give you a stone, but you can be all of them.
No, it's a necklace of all the stones. You just.
But you're not
It's
supposed to be able to
anime,
go-
Sage.
Because
You're
you
not supposed
can't
to be
go
able to go
back.
backwards.
That was the whole point.
Yeah.
Once you evolve, you can't devolve.
They make it. They
that's
make it.
why-
They make a normal stone that lets it devolve back.
No,
No,
way.
that's not how that works. You can't suddenly change the canon
bet you
25 years
This
on.
has to be what's
Sure they
happening
can.
in
They
their
do it all the
boardroom.
time.
Like they have to be
No,
having
wait.
a conference, like just screaming at each other.
Yeah.
Being like, you can't do that. But what if we did?
Think about this. Okay, so you remember when they first announced like Mega Evolutions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, a whole part of the Mega Evolutions was to have the different design. But there's a whole way to get the Mega Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe if they did something along those lines, because with the Mega Evolutions, it does go back.
I don't know.
You can only have
It does take place in the same universe as the anime.
Detective Pikachu.
It is in the same universe that Red and Ash Ketchum
It
exist.
could be a ditto.
It could be a Ditto, or they could just be like, fuck it, a normal stone can make an Eevee back into a goddamn Eevee. And they could also just add that into the game if they wanted.
I think that would be too annoying to go back and forth with this stupid stone. I think a ditto
Yeah.
is a better.
But can
But
Ditto
Ditto's
do the
Ditto's
moves?
iconic.
Ditto's not as iconic.
Well,
Can
of
Ditto
course,
do the
but
moves as well?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
I'm almost positive.
But also then you're saying, well, I actually don't remember exactly how Ditto's work.
Look
but
up Ditto's power set, because I always thought it had the appearance but wasn't like able to do the moves, or maybe not as good kind
I'm
of a
going
thing.
off Detective Pikachu and what happened in that movie.
I want them to make it Mr. Mime. What's the like baby evolution? Mime
It
Jr.?
can transform
So cute,
into
yes.
things off memory, but it usually fucks it up.
Okay.
But
But what's
But
its
it
power
can
set?
transform
Power
into
set.
anything.
can it do the power of the Pokemon it's copying?
Because I feel like that's important. Because, okay, so say you have a Ditto that's posing as an Eevee and then posing as the evolved form of the Eevee, whichever one, right? But if it can't do those powers, what's the fucking point?
Transform, it copies its opponent's moves, types, form, and
Oh,
non-HP
okay.
stats.
Okay, very good.
I think that would be a good. They should hire us. I think that would be. I think that would be good.
I just don't think Ditto is like...
They are-
the girl. Okay, right.
They
so
are currently in a boardroom arguing about how they can make Eevee work, and we bust in the door and are like, make it a Ditto!
Yeah, because okay, so right, they have the new girl, whatever,
Right.
and she's out and about, and an Eevee comes to befriend her, and so. Right, so she chooses this Eevee, she catches it, they just become friends, doesn't catch it, whatever the fuck they choose to go
No,
about
she
that.
has it riding on her shoulder. How cute would that be?
But so eventually when she gets into trouble and has to have this first fight, that's when she finds out it's a Ditto.
Ah.
Just saying. I think
But
it'll work.
I
think
just
it's a good
don't... I
idea.
don't think Ditto is iconic enough
But
to the
that's
general
why-
public.
So
That's
you
why
think-
it stays Eevee.
Yeah,
because
because I was gonna say
I guess
it
that's
likes
true.
to be
But you
an
just
Eevee.
know it's a Ditto.
because of that first
Right,
fight.
because of the-
that,
okay,
like that.
okay.
Every
you
now and then
see.
it's in its Ditto form, but it prefers to be... it prefers to be identify as an Eevee.
I would say- I
It
would
identifies as
say-
an Eevee, but sometimes it's
I
not.
feel like they probably wouldn't even if they were to do this.
It's gender fluid.
Like
It's type fluid.
that they wouldn't
Species
have it
fluid.
Yeah.
in the Ditto form, but they like say it got hurt or something and is knocked out, then it shows that it's a Ditto.
Yeah.
something
No,
like that.
what if... Okay, here it is. It shows up as an Eevee, befriend, whatever, first fight. The Eevee evolves into, let's say, the advantage type of that fight
What-
and wins
yeah.
the fight. And the girl is like, whoa, my brand new Eevee just evolved, right? But then it turns back into an Eevee after the fight. We go through like a season's worth of this, and there's like no explanation as to why it can do this.
At the end,
At
is
the
when
end,
you find out it's a Ditto.
You find out it's a Ditto. Create some mystery
Yeah.
around this
Yeah.
Eevee.
And
If you just say it out front, it loses its charm and like mysticism,
Yeah.
you know? Because it's supposed to be once you evolve, you can't
Right.
go back. So, I don't know.
I think
I think
this
that
works.
I think it.
I think we need to be paid. Like, we need
I think
to
it-
know them.
Oh, what if they did it as like the what's like the baby version of Lucario?
Riolu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's pretty, because like everyone knows Lucario. And that's like cute enough to be like the sidekick.
Nah,
But-
see, so many people have had Lucarios. They're like
That's
a real.
true.
But I was
thing.
gonna say, I think it also has to be. I feel like it doesn't.
It needs to be
evolve.
small.
Like, yeah, I feel like.
What if you had a Gengar? That's already the full form. But that's like
Yeah.
pretty iconic as
Yeah,
well.
but you can't have somebody starting with a fucking Gengar.
I guess that's true.
Like,
Well, I mean, I
Well,
guess
I
Ash gets Charizard pretty quick, but also he can't control Charizard forever, and they already did that.
Charizard. He does get Charmeleon.
yeah.
But then when it evolves to a Charizard, he does give it to like a Charizard's daycare.
Yeah,
So he can like be
where
more.
it's the smallest Charizard.
I'm trying
Yes.
to look to see if there's anything that doesn't evolve. Like, it's
okay,
just the
like a one.
that
I
is
mean,
like
Mew doesn't
iconic
evolve. But I think that's a little too OP.
Yeah,
as
just
your,
go give some fucking
a
random kid a
legendary-
Mew.
Yeah, no.
I think a legendary is a little too OP.
But also,
Definitely.
doesn't Mew kind of suck?
No, Mew is on the same power level as Mewtwo.
Oh yeah,
Give him a far-fetched. Give him a surfetched.
Surfetched.
Yeah.
Give him the Chad. Give her the Chad. I mean, I don't know. Like,
Oh, what about like Chansey? Chansey doesn't evolve. Oh wait, no, doesn't
It goes
Chansey
into
have?
Blissey.
Right, but that's
But
a
it doesn't
new,
have to. You could totally keep it a Chansey.
right because Blissey is in what Gen 2. Originally, Chansey didn't have an evolution.
who the fuck gives a shit about Chansey?
I love Chansey with the
Course
little
you
egg
do.
and the little nurse's hat. Come
Yeah,
on, that's
very
adorable.
He usually doesn't have the nurse's
I think
hat.
I know, but it's really cute.
Look, Ditto and Eevee are next to each other
oh,
in the Pokedex.
Okay.
Just saying.
I feel like Kat has a very strong argument for
just
this whole
saying.
Ditto thing. Hold on, I'm gonna look at the Pokedex as well because
Lapras.
oh, I
people know
love
Lapras.
Lapras, but you can't.
Snorlax.
But I feel like a
But there's a baby
Lapras
version
on
of Snorlax.
land is not super useful.
No, it's.
This
But
is a water season only.
I was gonna say
high sailing adventure with
Yeah.
Lapras.
they need a Pokemon that can stay out of its ball most of the time.
and Lapras is kind of huge because you
Yes,
can ride
it
on
is-
its
it is
back.
huge.
So
You can have multiple people.
yeah, I was gonna say I feel like that wouldn't work out. What about a Jinx? That would be horrifying.
Just
Or
all the time.
wait, but don't. I was gonna say Magmar, but he also has.
no
an
one gives a
evolution.
fuck about Magmar.
Oh, I liked Magmar.
Magmar looks stupid.
Oh,
I like Magby.
that's the baby one.
Yeah.
What if we give them like one of the 3 legendary birds? Those don't
Casual.
evolve. Those
Casual.
don't evolve. Porygon.
I think they're gonna go with Eevee.
Oh wait, no, they do give Porygon an
Yeah.
evolution eventually.
It goes from
Yeah,
blocky to
Porygon
smooth.
Z.
Yes, but when did that evolution come out? Like Gen 6?
I don't remember.
It was like
Polygon
way after
2.
the fast.
I thought it was just Polygon 2.
No,
Porygon.
Porygon
Z.
2. I mean, I thought it was
There,
2.
there's 2. So it might be 2 and then Z.
Oh, maybe.
There's 2 evolutions.
You know what I wish they'd bring back?
Spiritomb.
Wait, does Drifloon have an evolution?
Yes.
Oh, what's Drifloon's evolution? A bigger balloon?
It's literally like a hot air balloon.
It
It
go-
looks
yeah.
like. What is it called?
I don't remember.
So I was right. It's a bigger balloon.
Yeah, it literally is. It's literally like a hot air balloon
Yeah,
with
let's
like arms.
let's just have the main character have its main Pokemon be the Pokemon that steals children from its parents.
I don't know. A bunch of Pokemon steal kids.
Yeah.
So,
I
like Hypno,
Yeah.
taking you, snatching you up from your
It's
bed.
gonna be an Eevee though. We know that
I don't know.
for the most part. I feel like.
I feel like Eevee does make sense.
Also,
Yeah.
I wish they'd bring back Mega Evolutions because
Oh, do they not have it in the most current game?
they haven't
Did-
had it for a while.
In the newest game, they have like crystal
Yeah,
forms.
it's stupid.
What is it?
Terrorization.
Terrorization.
Or terra-
And that's
yeah.
also
I
like a
haven't
different look.
started that.
Yeah, it's so like it's weird, right? Because they did Mega Evolutions for I think 2 generations,
Okay.
and then they half had it.
Spinda. I love Spinda.
They half had it, and like half had something else. And because they wanted a new gimmick for each game.
I want the new mascot of Pokemon to be Ponyta or Rapidash. I literally was obsessed with
No
Rapidash
way they'll
as
do
a
that
kid.
though. I don't think it's iconic enough.
What? Rapidash? Flaming unicorn?
I really don't
It
think
doesn't have a horn.
Rapidash has a horn.
No, the fairy version does, not the fire version.
The fire version also has a horn.
It does.
No,
I thought it
I'm
was the Galarian
fairly
form.
certain it doesn't.
Hold on. Rabidash.
Sure doesn't. Oh wait, is that an
Don't-
ear or a horn?
Don't lie to me. It has a horn,
it is
you
a horn.
idiot.
All right.
How dare you lie to me? Trying to tell me I don't know my Rabidash knowledge.
You don't.
I do.
But yeah, I wish they brought back Mega Evolutions because they keep like making new forms, right?
Right.
But like because they have to make new ones every fucking game,
Right.
like you don't get anything like different really anymore. Like
Oh.
the Gigantamax was like interesting, but you only got like what was it like?
Just showing her.
Yeah.
The
What was
hot
it
air
like-
balloon with
like-
arms.
10 that got their own specific forms with Gigantamax.
Oh,
like 10
you
Pokemon
mean like
or something. But they got like
Gen
a
10?
unique form instead of just being big.
Right.
Where, you know, if they just kept Mega Evolutions and then just each game kept adding more.
Yeah.
What about Snorlax as your...
I already said that.
She did.
Oh, you did? Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't even hear you say that. I
Yeah.
do apologize.
I would own a Snorlax just so I could have it as my bed.
As your bed?
Yeah.
He does seem very, like, soft and squishy. I saw online a, like... Somebody had, like, a ginormous
Beanbag.
Snorlax plush
Yeah.
that was, like, the size of a beanbag. And I was like, where can I obtain this
It's from
for
the
my
Pokemon
house?
Center.
Probably.
In the
Also, it
city?
would not fit in your fucking condo.
Oh, it's too big for my
Probably.
condo?
I think it's at the one in Japan, but you can buy online if it's in stock.
I feel like it would not
They
fit
also have
in
a giant
room in your place.
Lapras. Did you ever see that one?
No.
Not enough to be like a beanbag, but you could sit on it.
These are things I need in my home.
They're like hundreds of dollars.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Vaguely Enemy podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave a review, like, follow. Don't forget you have 2 weeks to watch a certain scientific railgun. And don't forget to check out Kat at Kat the Moonstar on Twitch. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
See ya.